Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Blumenthal, the rest of this committee and the Steams Committee, and looking around this committee, seeing people that I've worked with before on both sides of the aisle, and it's good to see you, and especially to the new members as well. I'm honored to be sitting here to be the nominee for the next Secretary of the VA. I'd like to thank my friend Kevin Kramer for that kind introduction. I appreciate his work, and I appreciate your work as well. He hit it perfectly. It's about the vet, and I thank him for that. I'd also like to thank President Trump for his nomination and for his willingness to have not only confidence in me, but also the veterans of this country. I'm privileged today, and I appreciate the chairman and ranking member mentioning my family, because I would not be here without them. My wife of 36 years is with me, Lisa. She's right here. I have my son, Copeland, and his wife, Holly. I have my son, Cameron, his fiancee, Maddie. And then on the end, we have the one that glues us all together, and that is Jordan. She is our daughter. But there's also one that probably is watching right now that I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, and it's my 86-year-old father, who spent 31 years as a Georgia State Trooper. Dad, I'm here because of you and Mom, and I love you. You know, America is the greatest nation on earth, and it's the greatest nation on earth, I believe, because of the men and women who serve. It's the men and women who serve and are willing to take the step up to protect the freedoms that we hold so dear. And throughout my 2 decades of service, I've witnessed this firsthand. I've watched men and women go at their best, even when they didn't want to, and they served. And they stood up for our freedoms. And they earned the benefits of being in our great veteran system. And the VA is there for them. In addition to being a Navy veteran for a while, I've now been in the United States Air Force for over 23 years. I'm a colonel serving at the Warner Robins Air Force Base at Afric Command, and I've been able to watch over the years leadership. Leadership is about listening, but it's also about leading. It's also about taking the men and women that you serve with and making sure that you're putting their needs first. When you're in the military, it's about the mission. For me, if I'm confirmed by this body, the VA will be my mission. It will be the mission to take care of our veterans and to make sure they get the benefits that they deserve. I'm an Iraq War veteran. I understand burn pits because I slept next to one for many months. I understand this generation that went for time and time and again, deployment after deployment, in a different way than we'd seen many times before in our past wars and the needs that they have. But also being a veteran, I think I also bring something that is unique to this position almost since it became a cabinet position. I'll be the first member of this Hill, House or Senate, to serve if confirmed by this body, which I think brings a different perspective to my service here. Because over the years, we've all had our differences in this body, and Ranking Member, I appreciate you mentioning, yes, we have differences, but we can agree. Because I have worked across this aisle to pass major legislation. Thanks to President Trump and this body, we passed the First Step Act, giving real criminal justice reform with my partner Hakeem Jeffries in the House. Music Modernization Act, which Senator Kramer mentioned. Defend Trade Secrets Act with Chris Coons and many others. These are the kind of things that make big differences when you cross and you give good ideas. For me, it is about having respect for the members. It's about having respect for this committee. And that is what I believe this committee is one of the most bipartisan here. I have earned and worked bipartisanly to make things happen in this country. Because you know also, I believe that we also have a lot we're in common with on both sides of this committee's dais. I believe we also believe that there is timely access and care for our veterans, for every eligible person. I believe that we're actually supposed to reach out, and the Mission Act provides that template that we passed here, that I was a part of passing. The VA Accountability and Whistleblower Protection Act, which passed, by the way, this body unanimously, that holds our veterans, workers, and the workers who touch our veterans to the highest standards possible. I will tell you right now, the veterans VA will not have a stronger fighter for the employees in the workforce than this secretary, if confirmed, and also one that will make sure that we're held accountable, because good work begots good work, and others need to be held accountable. We will do that to make sure that we get the best for our veterans. The PAC Act, which was mentioned by the ranking member, something that I think we're still developing and making sure everybody gets the treatment. Just passed the Elizabeth Dole Act, something we're going to have to look at next. I'm looking forward to. But as we look at this, I do bring one thing. It's going to require your help, and it's going to require our mission. I bring to you today two things that will be at the forefront of my service. These are my dog tags. They're a reminder, just like every other veteran who served, that we're part of a bigger unit. And I also bring this bracelet that was made for me by a young airman. She was keeping watch each night, and I'd go by and see her, and we'd talk. I was a flight line chaplain at Balad. And she had said one night, she said, I've got something for you. And she ran back into her guard chat and she came out with this. She said, you're always bringing us something and listening. She said, I want to give you something. Well, what she didn't know is now about 15 years later, if confirmed by this body, this bracelet will be sitting in the Secretary of the VA's office, reminding me every day of the men and women that we serve. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.